Today I'm here to take up a very nice poem with you. And before we take up the poem, let me show you some images. Oh my God, seeing the images, your reaction must be, what is ma'am showing to us? A child in rags, then a dirty picture of the surroundings. It's nothing to worry about because we're going to take up the same poem today, which deals with slums. I hope you have come to the right conclusion that we are going to take up a very important poem today, and the poem figures in your Flamingo book, and the poem is titled An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. It's written by Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender is a very important word for you children because this person figures twice in your Flamingo, once in poetry and once in prose section. Let's know something about Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender was born in 1909 and he died in 1995. He was an English poet and essayist, and he was a very keen person who was interested in politics, and he called himself a socialist and a pacifist. Socialist is one who believes in the theory of socialism, and pacifist means one who does not like war, one who is in favor of peace. He has written many books, and among his most famous books are Poems of Dedication, The Creative Element, World Within World, and so many. And in all these compositions, you will see that the underlying theme is that of poverty, injustice, social inequalities, economics, and the way downtrodden people are meted with, and then how they should be uplifted. This is the basic theme running all over in his compositions. Besides, he was influenced by Sigmund Freud and by Marx, and both these had a very deep impression on him, which resulted in making his compositions more severe and dealing with the inner psychology of a person and dealing with the social inequalities. Now, coming back to the poem, let me show you the picture of a slum area where the children are being taught. Look at these pictures, and this gives you a very dismal picture. This you should remember that this poet is not only talking about any particular place, he is talking from a global point of view. Maybe he talks about some area which might be situated either in London, or maybe it might be even somewhere in India. You know about Indian slums. You have of late you have read about the slum of Simapuri, which is very close to Delhi. Then right now you must be knowing much about Dharavi in Mumbai. There are so many slums around, and this is a picture more or less everywhere. And in the next slide, you will see that once again a picture of a picture of a slum classroom in which the children are sitting so closely. The environs around are so filthy, you don't feel like sitting in the class. And if you compare them with your own classrooms, you will definitely feel the difference over there. Now, before we take up the poem, let me tell you that this poem is a poem of 4 stanzas. There is no particular rhyme scheme in the poem, and when the poem is without a particular rhyme scheme, we call it a free verse. The stanzas are very much full of images. There are so many poetic devices used, and this makes this poem a very decorative poem. Here in the first stanza, when we talk about the first stanza, you will see that you are being taken into the class as the images are so clearly portrayed, as if the camera is focused inside the classroom. Let's see from this first stanza. The first line says, far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn around their pallor, the tall girl with a way down head, the paper seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in the tree room other than this. I think you must have got a clear picture that the poet talks about a slum classroom where these sorts of children are studying. Now let's look up at the poem very, very closely. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. The children who are sitting in these classrooms, their faces are quite distant from the energetic faces which we find in the children other than this. Far has been used twice. And when the poet uses the word far, far, it means he is signifying there is a very big distance between the children who are from very good families and between the children who we are trying to depict now in this slum classroom. Gusty means very strong waves, and waves are strong when only very fierce winds are blowing. So these children's faces are very, very away, far away from the children who have very vibrant faces, energetic faces. And then, like rootless weeds, the hair torn around their pallor. Now, again, the poet is pointing at these children. They have hair which is like weeds, unwanted, unkempt, never combed, rootless. Rootless has two meanings. One, rootless is as if they have no root, they don't belong to anywhere. Second image is that of shuttling all the time. Sometimes they stay, they make up a temporary transit at this side, then sometimes they move to other part of the city and stay over there. So these children belong to such strata of the society. The hair torn around their pallor, the hair comes on their face because it is never combed, it is just lying unkempt. The tall girl with her way down head. Now, a tall girl from the class is being picturized. The girl is tall. Maybe she is more beyond her age that she should be sitting in the class. Her head is weighed down. It is coming down because the poet has left it to you to make out why it should have come down. The hair, the tall girl with her weighed down head. There could be three explanations. One is that her head is weighed down, probably because malnourishment. Second significance could be because she is feeling dissatisfied with the way she is living her life. Third could be that she is feeling humiliated in this class, in this society, where she is putting up, on the one hand, you have very beautiful girls, and on the other hand, nobody is taking care of her. The paper seeming boy. Now, the paper seeming boy, what does that signify? Let's find in the other slide. This is figure of speech is simile. Can you locate the lines which use simile in the first stanza of the poem? Children's faces like rootless weeds, as if children are unwanted and they don't belong to anywhere. So this is the simile, this is the comparison. Then another comparison is the paper seeming boy. As you can see in this picture, the boy is very thin, very skinny, so it becomes a metaphor over there. Let's go back to the previous slide and try to understand the whole paragraph once again. The paper seeming boy, the poet wants us to feel that the boy seems to be having taken food, no food for so many days, with rat's eyes. Now, rat's eyes means that his eyes are popping up from his thin body, as you can see in this slide. Look how his eyes are penetrating here and there because there's hunger gleaming in his eyes. He wants food, and like a rat, he is looking everywhere in search of food. Then the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. This child, whom we are talking about right now, he is stunted. Stunted means when the growth stops all of a sudden. His growth has stopped, once again giving an indication that the children are not well fed in this section of society. Unlucky heir of twisted bones. Heir means inheritor. He has inherited. What has he inherited? Twisted bones. That's why the poet says he is unlucky. He's an unlucky inheritor of what? Twisted bones from his father and grandfathers, reciting his father's gnarled disease. His lesson from his desk. This child sitting in the class has got twisted bones. Maybe his bones pain. Maybe he's got some diseased bones. Maybe he's got some knotted bones. Reciting a father's gnarled means